I pledge allegiance to the flag. Cooper Flagg is joining the Brotherhood. Oh, yeah, baby. We're talking about all that and so much more on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils.
Hi, everybody. Dick Vitale. Hey, make sure you listen, man, to Locked On Blue Devils with J.J. Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you for being here on Monday, October 30th. We are 1 week away from the first real basketball game of the season for the Duke Blue Devils. And boy, what a Monday it is. Cooper Flagg has announced his commitment to join the Brotherhood as speculated in partnership with Slam Magazine. He pledges his allegiance to the flag of the Brotherhood, and we're so excited to talk about all of that and so much more on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils with Jordan Mann. If you have not done this already, please make sure that you follow and subscribe to our podcast feed for free wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Watch the show daily on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Share it with your friends. We're all talking about it. Cooper Flagg is a Duke Blue Devil, and man, we're fired up for today's show. So, without further ado, let's bring them on. Our good pal, Jordan Mann's here with us, and what a Monday it is, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, I had the Sunday scaries last night. I woke up and they went away when I saw the Cooper Flagg news. So, a big day for Duke basketball, and I'm ready to talk about some Cooper Flagg as a Blue Devil, not just as a prospect.
Yeah, enough UConn chatter back and forth over the past few weeks as to whether or not he would be playing for UConn or Duke. In his commitment video with Slam, he says, hey, I was down to 2 schools, UConn and Duke. Don't really see that from time to time in those videos. Typically, it's like, hey, here's where I'm going. But giving some love a little bit to UConn and the push that they made for him. But ultimately, he envisions himself playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium, and Cooper Flagg will be playing for the Brotherhood next college basketball season, the number 1 recruit in the class of 2024. What did you make of the commitment? Because partnering with Slam itself, the way it looked visually, the whole release, I mean, elite stuff for what is an elite prospect.
Yeah, it's always cool to see the production behind a kid announcing his intention to go play somewhere. I still think my favorite Duke commitment video of all time has to go to Trey Jones when Tyus Jones passes him the ball out of the shadows and he becomes a Brotherhood. And that's one of my favorite all time. Older brother passing out a little brother. But this Slam one, yeah, it delivered. And as Duke fans, like I said, it was Christmas came early for Duke right before Halloween.
Instantly, Duke solidifies themselves as the number 1 recruiting class in the class of 2024. And we'll get to how well Jon Scheyer has done on the recruiting trail, other targets still out there for the Blue Devils in the class. Knowing how crazy we are as Duke basketball fans, we'll celebrate this for a little while, and then we'll turn our attention to 2025. And there are a couple of really primetime players between A.J. DeBonta and the Booster twins and all that we're going to be just absolutely wanting as Duke basketball fans. But we'll celebrate Cooper Flagg here today and the remarkable player that he is joining the Brotherhood. So many people, Jordan, are saying, hey, this guy's better than like Zion in terms of the level of recruit that's walking in to Duke University. Unbelievable stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, he really took off in the EYBL. I mean, that's where he really made his name known, that he not only was the best player in the class of 2025, but if he could reclass to 2024, he'd be the best class in this one as well. And that's what he did. I mean, he averaged 25 points, 13 rebounds, 7 blocks, and 6 assists. And that's where his game is just on a different level, just a whole different level as a high school recruit, because he was doing every phase of basketball to 100 percentile, like the best of the best. And 24/7 has him ranked as 100, which is now the number 3 all-time commit the Dukes had. I think it was it was Cooper Flagg, RJ Barrett, and Marvin Bagley are the 3 now Dukes had as 1-1-1 across the board. And Cooper Flagg proved in the EYBL, and I can't wait to watch him play as a Duke Blue Devil.
Yeah, excited to see him team up with this roster that Duke will have already. He's the 4th freshman in next year's class. So you're sitting here wondering, hey, what does the scholarship situation sort of look like? Eventually, players are going to have to make decisions regarding next season. And in a lot of ways, it gets ahead of, again, here we are 1 week away from the real season starting for this Duke team in 2023, 2024. And yet so many reasons to be optimistic for the future of this Duke program. Just talking about Flagg, the prospect, you mentioned just the numbers, but given his height, his ability to shoot from the outside a little bit, handle it on the deck, block shots around the rim, what else kind of stands out to you as a player?
I mean, I think it's really what separates himself, because everybody that's as high as a recruit as he is can score the ball. But his ability to change the game defensively is where it's going to be huge for Duke. I mean, you saw that with Derek Lively, who had a very limited offense in the offense last year, win games for Duke defensively. Now imagine Cooper Flagg doing that defensively, but also scoring effectively and efficiently like Christian Laettner did in 91 and 92. Like, this guy is compared to the Laettner, and it'd be great to see him in number 32, just like Christian, but I guess we'll see JJ before next season tips off.
Yeah, I mean, here he is. He's posting wearing the number 2 jersey for Duke. And obviously Jalen Blakes, I believe, wears that for this year's Duke squad. He's got another year of eligibility. So who knows what jersey number these guys are actually going to be able to wear. We've seen a couple of them come down from the rafters in the past. You think of 35 that Bagley got to wear. 25 that Mark Mitchell is wearing is up in the rafters right now. Jared McCain has always talked about how much he loves number 24 for Kobe Bryant. Johnny Dawkins has that jersey retired, and Jared McCain will not wear 24 this season for Duke. So, I think a lot of people are curious what number he's going to ultimately don there for the Brotherhood. But let's see Twitter and the media world out there absolutely wanting Flagg to just lean in to all of those Christian Laettner comparisons.
Yeah, the Christian Laettner comparisons. I mean, people already, I think low-key, the people that do not like Duke wanted Cooper Flagg to go to Duke just so they could hate Duke again, and they have found their guy. They want him to be the next Grayson Allen. And so I expect a lot of media buzz for good and bad coming out of Duke with Cooper Flagg now being a Blue Devil.
Just amazing to find him as a basketball player as well. In his commitment video, of course, celebrates being from Maine. The unfortunate tragedy of a mass shooter last week kind of delayed this decision, and Flagg wanting to be there for his home state of Maine. But some numbers that we talked about earlier this summer from an Isaac Trotter profile from 247 Sports. Flagg is just the second Maine native to be ranked inside the top 100 over a decade, and it's been almost 40 years since we saw a Maine-born player drafted into the NBA. 40 years since someone that's from the state of Maine has made it to the league. And not only is he like in the conversation, not only is he a top 100 player from that state, he's like a one of one, and he'll be drafted really high in the NBA draft next season.
Yeah, that's a great stat. I can't believe you pulled that up. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But he obviously played at Montverde, and Montverde is known to have some real hoopers on that team. So I cannot wait to watch him play next season.
Let's take our first time out here on today's show. We'll talk a little bit more about Flagg, the class, Jon Scheyer's impact, and so much more as Locked On Blue Devils continues to move forward here in just a moment. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends over at Athletic Brewing. Man, we absolutely love our friends at Athletic Brewing for the work that they do in the non-alcoholic beer game. That's right. They've completely changed that game, making non-alcoholic beers that actually taste good, full of flavor, and well-crafted. Their brews are great tasting, award-winning, and beat out full-strength beers in global competitions. Brewing over 50 styles of craft non-alcoholic beers, including IPAs, golden sours, and so much more. Athletic Brewing is constantly releasing limited edition experimental styles to add to their variety, fit for all times, so you can drink them anytime, anywhere, and make any activity even more enjoyable. First-time customers can use code LOCKEDON to get 15% off your first order. That's code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON at checkout for 15% off your first order at athleticbrewing.com. Near beer, exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. Today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils is also brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Moving forward here on today's episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast, JJ Jackson alongside my pal Jordan Mann at Coach J Mann on Twitter, at Duke FB Fans. Also, the Big J Little J show that you can watch on YouTube. It's a good podcast that's out there. Tell us a little bit about the show, Jordan.
Yeah, so right now it's obviously Duke football season, so we've been talking about Duke football, but we will be doing a crossover talking about Duke basketball as the season is basically tipping off right now with all these secret scrimmages that fans are now all of a sudden hearing about, which is hilarious because they've been going on for years, JJ. But we will deep dive into those in a season preview for Duke basketball as well. But yeah, I appreciate you shouting out the pod.
So talking about those secret scrimmages, Duke, of course, played Villanova over the weekend. We've heard from a lot of people around the program and whatnot that Duke won pretty handily, a pretty deciding victory for the Blue Devils. We'll have more on that throughout the week as to what was heard and learned about this Duke team. We saw photos released by Duke men's basketball of the players very clearly in competition against Villanova. So to your point, not so secret that these things are taking place. We're also now seeing like charity exhibition games being played at venues for these schools. So that's something that's continuing to change here in college basketball as we ramp up to the season.
Yeah, that's a great idea, the charity basketball, because, I mean, you get eyes on your team, but also it's a catch-22 where you're going to have overreactions. Like Kansas lost an exhibition game to Illinois, and, I mean, they're probably not even through, like, shell defense so far in the season. Like, there's a long way to go before we really talk about, like, the outcomes of scrimmages. But, yes, it's a great opportunity to watch your boys play, though.
In a lot of ways, though, I'm kind of, we look at college football, for example, no exhibition games whatsoever. You just jump right into the season. And a lot of coaches definitely would love kind of that NFL preseason model if you could ever make it work. But there's got to be so much intrigue that I do kind of love about, first game of the season, let's all watch together what this team has. And it counts. Everything's legit and real.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, it is something that is romantic about it because you are getting a peek behind the curtain of seeing your boys play. But at the end of the day, it is an exhibition game for a reason, for these coaches to really just nitpick and throw things out there to see what works and see what doesn't before the season really ramps up, as November is practically here, JJ.
To your point, Kansas, the number one team in America, Duke number 2, did have a charity exhibition game with Illinois over the weekend, a home game for the Fighting Illini, a Big Ten opponent. Duke will play an exhibition game against the likes of UNC Pembroke. So, in the grand scheme of things, Illinois, UNCP, a little bit different level competition. But on the Duke end of things, that's the type of game we're more accustomed to being seen played over the years. Yeah,
and as a former Division III player, I am the product of losing by 40 points to Division I these exhibition games. So I am the UNC Pembroke to Duke in this situation. It's a great experience for UNC Pembroke, for all those players and coaches.
No kidding.
It is a tune-up for Duke for this upcoming season.
That'll be Wednesday night inside Cameron Indoor Stadium, and then first real game against Dartmouth on Monday. All right, Cooper Flagg commits to the Brotherhood, number 1 player in the country. A lot of people thought this was coming for quite some time. He's long said that Duke is his dream school. He's always wanted to play for the Brotherhood. He's given a lot of love to Grayson Allen. We talked about kind of leaning into the Christian Laettner perspective a little bit earlier as well. Grayson Allen is not liked by America still to this day. As the NBA season's off and rolling, Grayson's on a new team with the Phoenix Suns, and the internet quickly reminds you how much the world dislikes Grayson Allen. So shout out to Grayson, shout out to these Duke players, kind of loving one another and wanting to kind of be that next player, so to speak. So I'm sure that now that Cooper Flagg has officially joined the Brotherhood, he's going to have his fair share of haters as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're a really good white boy with a Duke across your chest, you are the most hated
It's
man.
happening. Yeah.
It happens. I mean, it's ironic that JJ Redick is now one of the most lovable people in media
Yeah.
because in 2004 he was the most hated guy in the country by far. So it comes with the Duke across your chest. And Cooper Flagg, people know that he likes to talk to, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder. When you're the best of the best, you have a chip on your shoulder, and it's going to come across to opposing fan bases as cocky and arrogant with the Duke across his chest, and they're not going to like it. But he's just a hooper, and that's what's going to happen.
I love it. So let's take a look at this. Cooper Flagg, the fourth player in the class of 2024 class for the Blue Devils, alongside Isaiah Evans, Darren Harris, Con Knippel. Those four players together, pretty special, worthy of being the number one class in America. But there are still like three outstanding offers from this Duke basketball coaching staff with decisions yet to be made when you look at Patrick Ngaba II, Dylan Harper, and of course, VJ Edgecombe. So the four players that Duke's already got, thought on that, Jordan, and then just what this class could turn into, as we said, with several recruits still out there.
Well, the one thing about Scheyer that he's really good at, besides obviously recruiting, is positionless basketball. I mean, the guys that Duke have right now that are committed are 6'6" to 6'8", and it's just, hey, we just need 5 guys out there to go hoop. And ideally, 1 through 4, you can switch everything, play positionless basketball. If you get a true center as the 5th recruit, then that's fine. You can still go 1 through 4, but clearly the motto is if you're a bucket, if you can score it, you're playing at Duke. And so I don't care if you're 6'3" to 6'9", you're going to be 1 through 5. And so that's what the targets look like right now and how it's shaping up to be.
In all likelihood, too, you mentioning kind of the size and basketball changing and whatnot. Dylan Harper was the number one player in this class until Cooper Flagg kind of made his decision to join the class of 2024. While it does look like Rutgers is in the front seat, Duke is still along for the ride. That has not changed. That would be more of your traditional point guard kind of coming into this class. So, we start to look at the scholarships next season. Some guys, Jeremy Roach makes it complicated as well because he's got a COVID year that he could certainly utilize if he wanted to. And, I'm really intrigued already, again, before the season has even started this year, before we even know what type of players these freshmen are, as to what decisions they'll make for the next season.
Yeah, it's weird when it comes to roster management with basketball compared to football because there's only 12 to 15 scholarships and availability that you can go through. And so thinking of Roach taking like the Jordan Goldwire approach and like going somewhere else after 4 years at Duke would be mind-boggling to see him wearing something different. But that's the modern era of college basketball. And obviously that's a whole nother year away. We got this whole season ahead of us. So I'm not going to jump any guns, but that would be crazy to see. But Dylan Harper, I mean, that guy is legit. And obviously, I think you're right. Rutgers is in the front seat, but that combo guard, again, 6'6", just goes right with the motto. It's like, if you can play, we don't care how tall you are, what your capabilities are.
All right, let's take a look at Coach Scheyer, what he's done on the recruiting trail. My, oh my, his elite recruiting absolutely continues, and we'll close out our conversation here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils after one more timeout. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks, the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America, the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's you against the numbers. Instead of betting thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you start to watch the winnings roll on in. PrizePicks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select players and projections up to 25% to provide even more value. PrizePicks also now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Go ahead, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, that's prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Last few moments here of today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. Alongside Jordan Mann, I'm JJ Jackson. We're taking a look at this Duke basketball recruiting class as a whole. The head man, Jon Scheyer, continues to grab another one. We mentioned the recruiting videos that the players put out to announce their commitment as Duke fans, we're now used to that Twitter and Instagram immediate video from Duke that they release another one when we've got everyone from inside the Brotherhood simply saying another one. And that's one of the best videos in the world, and it fires us up each and every time we get to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know how they make the cut for who gets to say it or not, because with like 25 Duke Blue Devils NBA, and then just everybody in the NBA, whether it's general managers and coaches, you can make that video montage like 5 minutes long of another one from all these Duke alums that are at the next level. But yeah, it's a great production and always closing with some high quality guys.
Yeah, and shout out to the staff as well, because inside this video in particular, now they have added an actual flag that looks like it's planted on the moon with the Brotherhood waving on the flag. Cooper Flagg. I mean, it's next level stuff. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you're right, JJ. They throw in some subliminal messages for sure.
We're all about it. We're all about it. All right, so Jon Scheyer has another one. It's only his second season as the Duke men's basketball coach. Gets a little bit of a head start in Coach K's final season. Duke ultimately goes on this big run to the Final Four, and next thing you know, Jon Scheyer's got the #1 class in America before he's even coached a basketball game. Follows that up year after year, 5-star after 5-star. How's he doing this, man?
I mean, where do you want to start? You have the Coach K, obviously the 40 years of Coach K basically at Duke, making Duke what they are. And then Duke's production of showing, hey, you can be a one and done at Duke, and then you can have a really good career in the NBA. And it translates. Like when you play one and done era at Duke, it translates to the league. And right now in this current market and this current time, JJ, these players just want to make money. Like these kids, all it is about how can I make money, 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 money. Well, you come to Duke for a year, translates to the NBA. And Duke's no longer the bust team that Duke used to be of like, hey, you go to Duke, you're not going to have a pro career. That's UNC now. Now Duke is the ones that produce guys in the league. So that's a great motto to have, great message. 24
players on opening day rosters for Duke. Mentioned this last week, just 9 for the Tar Heels this season, which is definitely down from where they've been over the years. Don't mind seeing that. But what Scheyer's been able to do out on the recruiting trail. And again, the story is like this keeps going. Not only do we still have more outstanding offers in the class of 2024, but you've got 2025, 2020. I mean, he's always looking ahead with a great staff of recruiters around him. And also, he's been doing this. Like you mentioned, his relationship with someone like Jason Tatum, who committed to the Brotherhood when Scheyer was just an associate coach for the Duke basketball team. Like he's clearly figured out this game. And after this past season, given the injuries, some of the egos that you've got to blend together, ultimately resulting in an ACC championship in year one, Duke playing some of the best basketball in all of America come March, like the on-the-court product seems to be there as well.
Yeah, and one thing that's very underrated that Scheyer is doing very well is him being involved in the media department, like him being involved in social media, him going over to the crazies that we talked about, countdown to craziness, like him knowing, like showing his face on social media that gets clicks, that gets views, that interacts with the fan bases, and that interacts with recruits. Recruits like to see that. And he's doing very well in all phases of what is now recruitment in college basketball. And it's one of the main reasons why Coach K wanted him to be the guy, because he knows how important social media is to recruits. And that's why his face is in these montage videos and all these things that you never saw K doing. It's just the modern times of college basketball, and Scheyer's crushing it right now.
What a day. What a day. What outstanding stuff from Duke basketball, from Jon Scheyer. Cooper Flagg, once again, we're pledging our allegiance to the flag. As so excited to have him joining the Brotherhood, and really excited that Duke basketball is 1 week away. We'll have an exhibition game on Wednesday, but we talked about it. Clearly don't care about those. We want the things that matter. Dartmouth, 1 week from today, will be opening up the season. I'm really excited for that, Jordan.
I am too, JJ. I can't wait to get the season rolling and seeing year 2 under Jon Scheyer.
Many more conversations between you and I throughout this basketball season. Excited for that. Thanks again for being on the show here today, Jordan.
As always, I appreciate you, brother.
All right, that's Jordan Mann joining us here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. That's going to do it for another show here today. Thank you again for your support. We got to keep talking about Cooper Flagg, this Duke basketball team. We'll have some Duke football love as well throughout the week. Thanks for making Locked On Blue Devils your first listen and first watch each and every day. A special shout out to all of our everydayers out there. I love you guys. Follow us on Twitter at LO_Blue Devils, and I'm on Twitter at _JJ_Jackson_. That's going to do it for today's show. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you tomorrow. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.